So back from the trip away, had a really good time, giving me some insights on the van. Also I've been looking at T6s a bit as well, so maybe that might be a next step van wise, because we could certainly have done with a bit more space and maybe somewhere to store food a bit better and somewhere to cook as well. Straight back into work, and I'm doing at a minute 49.5-hour weeks, so it's pretty tiring. This is my only day off, so what I want to do is kind of get ahead of myself and a lot more organized, so everything is organized, so everything's not as sort of feeling as last minute as it is. Well, the amount of people at the airport is insane. Must be waiting for the red arrows because they're about today. But yeah, basically get ahead of myself so everything doesn't seem so last minute and it's a bit more organized. In today's video we're going to go through the 3 things that I don't like about the Suzuki Swift Sport. I introduced it to the channel a little while ago. I said we were going to do some stuff to it. We still are, again, just with busyness, etc. Haven't got around to it yet. Haven't even got around to doing anything to the caddy. I literally prepared for the trip away, and that's kind of all I've done from that perspective, until, like I said, I can get a little bit more ahead of myself and get a little bit more organised. So yeah, in a moment I'll pull over, I'll show you this. I've spent a long time thinking of stuff to do for this video, and obviously when I did the video I praised the car immensely, and I always will praise the car. I think it's a fantastic car. There is a couple of things, not many, and some of them, to be honest, is scraping the bottom of the barrel, but I'll go through. From an ownership perspective, we bought, like I said, we bought this car new back in 2016, and it hasn't skipped a beat or anything like that, so a little bit more than what a road test would give you, and more what everyday ownership would give you. Okay, so the first gripe that I have with this car is the parcel shelf. So parcel shelf, all well and good. When it's closed, it's fine, there's no issues at all. But it's not really held in place too securely. It's literally just put on top of those 2 things. So see how easy that comes out there. And then you've got to slide it back in. And 99% of the time, it's not an issue. But imagine you've just been shopping, keys for your house in one hand, bag in another hand, and you're trying to get another bag out of the boot as well. So easily happens where you literally go to pick it up and it literally does that. So now I've got keys in one hand, bag in another hand. I'm trying to deal with other bags, and I've got a parcel shelf that's just hanging freely and flopping around. So now I've got to start putting things down, remembering where I put my keys, etc, etc, to put that back on, because the boot doesn't close if if there's more than one thing in the boot. Parcel shelf gets in the way. Number 2, this is basically when you see, I can set up my position for driving and everything like that, right, and it doesn't happen. But then when I've been driving the car for a bit, it does happen. So I don't really understand, or haven't really figured out what the cause is. But it happens to Lisa as well, it's not just me. And I have driven a later model, and I know that this isn't an issue in that one. It's not going to happen now. But when I push the clutch in, sometimes my knee starts hitting, my shin, sorry, starts hitting the bottom of the dash here. So like now, that's not an issue. But sometimes when I drive, and I don't understand how it happens, but sometimes my shin starts hitting the bottom of the dashboard, and I don't, like I said, I haven't figured out whether it's like because obviously the seat gets changed between me and Lisa because she's like tiny. But I haven't figured out whether it's just my seating position and not getting it quite right, or alternatively getting in and out of the car, or maybe slouching down. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but actually, hang on a second. No, I can't figure out what it is or what causes it. But sometimes when I'm driving, my shin's hitting the bottom of the dash when I'm trying to change gear, push the clutch in, etc., anything like that, sitting in traffic. My shin's hitting the bottom of the dash. And even like looking now, like it doesn't look like an issue. It looks like there's plenty of room because it has to be up there, so that's a good 3 inches or whatever. But it does happen, and I can't figure out what's causing it to do that. And when my shin does start hitting the dashboard, it's a little irritating because I'm just trying to drive. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, haven't figured that out yet, but that does happen, and it doesn't happen to just me. It happens to more than just me, because Lisa says it happens to her as well. So, and I know it's not an issue in the new one, but just something to look out for. Haven't figured it out yet. And finally, the last thing is the headlights. Now, I believe this is the facelift model from the Mark II. So the Mark II, then facelift, then new model completely. And when they did that, or I don't know if it's just a sport model, they've got these, I don't know what they are, Xenons, or I don't know what they are, but they're basically high-end headlights compared with the main, I think it's compared with the main model. I think it's just the Sport that has them. But if you run into an issue where you need to change one of the headlights, it's not as simple as going into the back of the headlight, pulling out the bulb and changing it over. It's actually, we, for example, took it to Halfords. Halfords couldn't do it, so we took it to the main dealer. The main dealer did it, but they had to take off the front bumper in order to get the headlight removed. Once they'd removed the headlight, they changed it and then obviously put everything back on. When you're looking at total cost to change a headlight bulb on this, and bear in mind this was a few years ago, so it's going to be more expensive now, it was £178, and that may not seem like a huge amount of money if you're driving a Range Rover or whatever, but it's a little budget car, like £16,000 car, brand new. And so looking at £178 at the time, like I said a few years ago, it is, I believe, to be a little excessive. So maybe I get the car companies do that. They don't want you touching the cars and things like that. They want to just deal with everything themselves. But something as simple as a headlight should really be, if not the person who owns the vehicle doing it, it really should be like a garage that could just do it and sort it out, no issue at all. But no, they made it so complicated that I'm sure an independent garage could do it, obviously a bit more in depth than Halfords, but they made it so complicated that you'd have to take it to an independent garage. Most 99% of people would have to take it to an independent garage in order to change the headlight bulb, and then you've got the labour of having to take off the bumper just to get to it. Now, oh, red arrows. Nice. Now bear in mind, it's only happened once since the whole ownership, so since 2016 it's only happened once to one of the headlights, but it's still like a worry that it could happen at any time to the other one or both of them at the same time. And in that case, obviously you've got the cost of getting that sorted out, and it's literally like a headlight bulb. Like, you know, maybe for the headlight bulb you're talking 70 for like HID one or a Xenon one, but then you've got the labor cost on top of that, and it's just astronomical. There should have been, to me and the design doing it, there should have been an easier way to access that and change it without having to take off the front bumper and all this bollocks. But other than that, it's a fantastic little car. Like I said, we've had no issues with it since we purchased it new. It took us a long time to come up with the list of, because they're so minor at the end of the day. Like, You know, if I was a 17-year-old kid, I would never even have figured that out about the parcel shelf. It's only because I'm like having to do adult stuff, like go do a weekly shop, etc., that I figured that out. Yeah, so it's so minor, it took ages to come up with the list. It's such a fantastic little car, I can't praise it enough. But yeah, that's it. So end of the video. There'll be something more on the caddy coming soon. Like I said, I'm working a lot of hours at the minute, and that's before I deal with anything else in my life at all. So I'm trying to keep them coming weekly and just be consistent with it first and foremost, and then from there we'll be able to work around and start doing bigger and bigger stuff. I want to put the old suspension back on the caddy and have the original suspension back on to give me a bit of height. But like I said, because I'm working so much, I need a car every day. I don't have the ability to take it to a garage, drop it off while they do it, and then allow me. So I need to figure all this stuff out whilst we're going. We'll get there eventually, it'll come. But yeah, anyway, have a good one, and I'll see you in a bit. Bye bye.